What does the best hotel room in Disney World look like? Well, it depends. You wanting something upscale, immersive, peaceful? We're going to lay them all out on the table today here at DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. If you're going to invest in a Disney World vacation, then you want the best Disney World vacation. None of this being disappointed in what you paid for business. No siree. Instead, we're going to help you find a room that'll make you go, yep, worth it. So totally worth it. If you wind up hearing multiple options you want to look more into, then head to disneyfoodblog.com/besthotels after this. You can drop us your email and we'll get this complete list of hotel options sent right to your email. Yay for free PDFs. Now, if you want the royal treatment without the royal prices, you are in exactly the right place. I had to start with this category because these hotels continue to impress me over and over and over again. I'm talking about those moderate resorts that give you the deluxe resort treatment, like Disney's Gran Destino Tower, for instance, over at Coronado Springs. Now, this place is seriously misleading. When you first walk into this lobby, you're going to think you've accidentally booked a room way out of your price range because it is beautiful. The soaring ceiling, the intricate decorative Spanish backdrops, the marble accents, the dripping light fixtures, the sleek and clean feel, and the layout of the room mirrors more of a deluxe resort feel too. You're not going to get a whole lot of colorful characters here. What you will get are classy wood and metal details, a large stand-up shower, lots of storage space, a desk area, lots of places to plug and charge electronics, and a personalized smart television. And depending on which room you choose, you might also get an epic view across the shining waters of Lago Dorado. You've also got quite the fancy pants dining and lounge options here, like Toledo, Tapa Steak and Seafood, and Dahlia Lounge. But you're not limited to options over at the tower. Since Gran Destino is part of the Coronado Springs resort area, all you got to do is walk over to even more dining options. Like my personal favorite, the Three Bridges Bar and Grill at Villa del Lago. Warm manchego and Oaxaca cheese dip is literally all I need to order to keep me happy. Well, and maybe the sangria flight. Now, your room at Gran Destino Tower is also within walking distance of the Dig site, which is one of the neatest Disney World Resort pool areas for two main reasons. One, it's got that towering Mayan pyramid with an attached water slide at the Lost City of Cibola pool. And two, it's got the largest hot tub on Disney property. The big old downside to Coronado Springs Gran Destino, just because it seems like a deluxe resort doesn't mean it is. So when you stay here, you will not be within walking distance of any of the parks, nor will you have access to the extended evening hours, park hours benefit like the real deluxe resorts have. Plus, like I mentioned briefly, these rooms are sleek and have a nice view, but they're not Disney-fied. So if you want a real royal treatment with yet another moderate price tag, then you may want to float on down to the bayous instead and get your room over at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. Just like any other Disney World resort, Port Orleans Riverside has a few different room types. You've got your standard, your pool view, your preferred room, your king bed room, but unlike the other hotels, you've got another option called the Royal Guest Room. This is one of those rooms where a grand reveal is warranted. Some resorts, you open the door and you're just like, cool, a bed and a bathroom. But at a royal guest room, you open the door and reveal portraits of Disney princesses hanging on the walls, Aladdin's magic carpet sprawled out on the floor, Belle's little footstool pup next to the TV. Yep, his name is Sultan. Sinks with magic lamp fixtures, and to really hit it out of the ballpark, headboards that actually light up with fireworks. And the best part, these rooms are still set at a moderate price. We're talking about $335 to $360 per night. Yes, that means moderate in Disney World, depending on the room view and the time of year you book your trip. Now, Gran Destino and Port Orleans Riverside aren't noisy resorts by any means, but you still got roommates right next door. And hey, I can't predict whether they'll be on their best behavior or not. So why don't we look into the best rooms that do a better job of keeping other guests out of your personal bubble? So if you're sick of dealing with people, honesty check, because let's be real here, the one thing you're not looking forward to on your upcoming Disney trip are the crowds. So if you want your Disney World stay to be a whole lot less people-y, the best hotel stay for that is, of course, the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. The Fort Wilderness cabins are the only moderate resorts that are part of the Magic Kingdom area, but don't let that fool you. You're not just going to be able to walk on over to the Magic Kingdom from here, and that's because you're going to be in a log cabin in the middle of the woods. So technically, the hotel category is kind of misleading on this one. The rooms aren't all attached to each other, and they aren't all located in a large collection of buildings. Instead, you're going to be pretty spread out from your neighbor, meaning more peace and quiet for you and your group. Not to mention, these moderately priced cabins are spacious. These include a full kitchen, living room with a pull-out bed, bedroom with a queen bed and bunk beds, and even a private patio. And if you really want to embrace the great outdoors, Fort Wilderness is home to some of the best resort activities like kayaking, fishing, Segway tours, archery, horseback riding, swimming, and of course Chippendale's Campfire Sing-Along, which is the only place you can see Disney characters for free. You can also dine at Hoop-de-Doo Musical Review, which is a dinner show that serves up a whole lot of laughs alongside huge helpings of comfort foods, or you can choose to pre-order a pantry full of fresh groceries from the Disney World website for an extra cost, so you can cook a few meals yourself while lounging around your cabin. Now don't go confusing these cabins with the Copper Creek cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. The Copper Creek cabins are indeed set at a deluxe price here, and for good reason. You're definitely not going to be roughing it with your fireplace and your spacious living room, full kitchen, separate bedrooms, washer, dryer, and private built-in hot tub on the enclosed back deck. Like, sorry, this isn't even glamping. This is straight up bougie living with plenty of privacy to make the deal even sweeter if you can stomach the bill. But again, you're not going to be able to walk to any of the parks from that cabin either. It's going to be a little bit of a journey to get over to Magic Kingdom or anywhere else for that matter. So if you don't mind paying a few $100s more per night, you can get a garden suite over at Disney's Boardwalk Inn instead. The garden suite will place you in the Epcot area resorts, but like in the most peaceful, private way possible. For starters, there are only 14 garden suites available for you to book at the Boardwalk Inn, and these 14 suites might be connected to one another, but they're also fenced off, so other guests can't wander in and out all willy-nilly. Not only will you have space away from other guests, but you'll also have space to spread out from your fellow members of your travel group. The suites are 2 stories tall and include a full living room area with a wraparound couch, multiple bathrooms including one with a full-on jacuzzi tub on the 2nd floor, a wet bar, and an upstairs loft where you can play Rapunzel, Rapunzel and let down your hair. So 2-story suites and cabins. Can Disney World rooms get any more unique than that? Why, yes, they can. If you're wanting to switch things up, what if you don't want to stay in a hotel at all? What if you stayed somewhere instead that you could brag about at your next high school reunion? The Treehouses at Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort might be a good place to start. So Saratoga Springs often gets overlooked when it comes to the Disney World Resort lineup since A, it's very Disney Vacation Club focused, and B, it has pretty outdated rooms and it kind of just looks like a big apartment complex. But the tree houses aren't part of all that, and they are not to be slept on, figuratively. Saratoga's tree houses aren't exactly perched on a tree per se, but they are elevated, so they're among the treetops. Technically, we could have put these bad boys in the quiet resort groupings too, since they're also not connected to other neighboring rooms, and they're out in the wilderness, away from the crowds and ruckus. And they're also super spacious and can sleep up to 9 people, with its 3 bedrooms, full kitchen, outdoor patio, and full living room areas. But the thing about these rooms is that, well, they are very expensive. Think $1,700 a night expensive. They also book up really quickly, since they're great for bigger family gatherings that can help split the bill. So if you want to reserve one of these tree houses and live out your Tarzan-like fantasy, you're going to have to start looking for these guys at least a year in advance. Same goes for the bungalows over at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. They're expensive, they're difficult to book. But man, if you can manage to budget and get a reservation here, you're in for a treat. The bungalows jut out over the Seven Seas Lagoon right across the way from Magic Kingdom, so hello nightly fireworks shows. And along with a fantastic point of view, as Aladdin would put it, you've got 2 full bathrooms, very important info right there, a full kitchen and a full living room, all within a very tropical themed oasis. Not to mention you've also got a private deck with your very own private plunge pool, so even though you can't jump on into the Seven Seas Lagoon for an afternoon dip, you got a little fenced-in alternative that's a lot less swampy, but also kind of cramped, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. It'll at least cool you off and give you a nice view, especially those fireworks. We do have a few qualms with the Polynesian's bungalows, like the price point and the impossible-to-book ordeal and the tiny plunge pool that doesn't give you much space to spread out, but it's still a bucket list villa for a lot of guests. Okay, so many options already. Need help remembering all these swanky places? Don't forget to head over to disneyfoodblog.com/besthotels. If you want this list, then we want to send it to you, because that's just how we roll. Okay, so say you want to turn off the TV and watch a live show. Speaking of rooms with a view, who needs to keep up with the Kardashians when you could keep up with a literal giraffe outside your hotel window? If you're planning on booking a room over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge and you really want the full impact of the whole I'm surrounded by living, breathing animals vibe, then the best room to get here is going to be one with a savanna view. That way, you can wake up each morning, walk out on your room's balcony and say hello down there to a savanna filled with giraffe and zebra and flamingos and lots more species of African wildlife, like 30 species in total. Okay, I lied about the flamingos. They're over by the pool. But But your room will also come with a wildlife field guide, so you and your group can learn more about the animals chilling in the savannah outside your window. Now, word of warning, the savannah views are much pricier than the standard view rooms, like a couple $100 extra per night. But you can cut down on that price by booking a standard room and requesting a partial savannah view, meaning you'd still be able to see some animals, but your view would be obstructed. If you do decide to try this route, you won't be guaranteed a partial savannah view, and sometimes if your request is fulfilled, the view might wind up being more obstructed than not, but it's always worth asking about, just in case. Still, the only way you can guarantee a savannah view is by booking the full-on savannah view room. Keep in mind that you don't have to have a savannah view room to see the Animal Kingdom Lodge's expansive savannah. The giant windows of the lobby still overlook these massive plains, not to mention the resort's table service restaurant Sanaa also has picture-perfect window views overlooking the resort's starring cast of wildlife. But even if it didn't, the East African-inspired menu options featured at Sanaa would still be worth the visit. And since I did mention how the bungalows over at the Polynesian have great fireworks views, you'll be happy to know that they're not the only place you can see fireworks from your hotel window every night. If you're browsing through the different rooms of the Disney hotels and you've come across one that says theme park view, that means you're going to have yourself a private showing of the nighttime spectacular every evening of your stay. The Magic Kingdom area resort have a few theme park view rooms available, so make sure to check out not only Disney's Polynesian Village for more theme park views aside from just the bungalows, but also Disney's Contemporary Resort and Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. Disney's Wilderness Lodge also has a few rooms labeled as nature fireworks views, but what this really means is that you'll see mostly trees with a few fireworks kind of peeking out over the tops, so they're not worth the extra moolah unless you're okay with those super obstructed fireworks views. And it's nice to know that even if you don't stay in a theme park room during your upcoming Disney World vacation, you can always try again the next time around. But what if your best hotel stay winds up being something you may never be able to experience again? Better not skip over this point, otherwise you're going to be missing out on what could potentially be your last chance to stay in some of these classic Disney hotel rooms. If you or a little pirate in your group has ever wanted to sleep in a full-on pirate ship, now's your chance to do so over at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. Along with Caribbean Beach's standard rooms, you can book a specialty pirate-themed room, which has not only full-on ship beds, but also other piratey details, like a table inspired by Captain Jack Sparrow's iconic compass, crate-shaped dresser drawers, Pirates of the Caribbean framed artwork, and a skull and swords combo on the curtain divider, because nothing screams Disney quite like a decapitated head. But here's the kicker. You can only book a room for this one until the end of 2022. After chatting with an online cast member, we learned that the pirate rooms would not be available for booking once 2023 rolls around. Disney hasn't given any official details on why this is yet, but it could mean a couple of different things. For starters, it could just mean these rooms are getting a little bit of sprucing up, maybe a fresh coat of paint here, or some new carpet there. But it could also mean that Disney's handing these pirate-themed rooms a one-way ticket to Davy Jones's locker. We won't know anything for sure until Disney makes an announcement one way or another, but we'll definitely let you know what the fate of these pirate rooms winds up being. In the meantime, if you want to stay in a pirate room before any major changes take place or before they sail away for good, you'll need to look into booking a room soon before it's too late. Now, speaking of big room changes, back in March, Disney announced that the Boardwalk Inn would be undergoing some major renovations in the future, so like Extreme Makeover Disney Resort Edition for this classic deluxe hotel. Along with new restaurants and a reinvigorated lobby, the Boardwalk is going to experience spruced up guest rooms too, which Disney has stated will add light and airy touches for future guests to enjoy. On the one hand, this sounds really nice, because we've mentioned in the past that the rooms at the Boardwalk Inn can feel very dated, and if updates are anything like the brand new DVC villas we see over at the Big Pine Key building at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, like the fresh blue and white decor that makes the rooms feel Victorian but modern all the same, then we're all in. But on the other hand, I know there are many of you out there who love the antique style of the Boardwalk rooms just the way they are, and if Disney decides to update them with IP, as they did at Disney's Contemporary Resort with the whole Pixar Incredibles remodel, well, that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Now, there's no exact timeline yet for when these classic rooms are going to start getting their facelifts, so if you want to experience the turn-of-the-century Atlantic City charm in its most authentic form for one last time, start looking into rooms over at the Boardwalk Inn ASAP. All right, so those are the classiest, the quietest, the most colorful rooms in Disney World, and now it's up to you to decide which of these hotels will be the best choice for your upcoming vacation. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. Don't forget, we are reviewing every single hotel on DFB Guide, so check out all of our hotel reviews so far over in our playlists. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.